Holly, good to see you. Could you introduce yourself and your business, please?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Holly Glowaty. I run a group called the Unifi Group, and we do go-to-market strategy for fintechs and then financial institutions who are launching new products or services.
Cool. Okay. And what was the background? What's the origin story for you?
Well, I have worked in startups, specifically in fintech, since since basically 2013. So yeah, I've worked with every like payment, started in payments, um, mostly in the closed loop, and then from there I went to I was at like a small company that was like an agency where I kind of learned everything and cut my teeth. Then
Mhm.
I went to my first startup. While I was at my first startup, I was like, wait a minute, I would like to start something. So started my first consultancy with my old business partner. And from there, she and I created a conference. We had a podcast. We had a newsletter. We were launching a magazine and like a network for all these people. And that was, of course, in March of 2020 that a lot of things were going to be launched. And then the world shut down for
Yeah.
2 years. So when we sundowned that company,
Mhm.
I came on as a co-founder for a company called Prize Out and spent many years there with my co-founders. And after I left the company in, what was that, November of 24? No, sorry, 23, November of 23, I started consulting again. And
Nice.
I realized what I love is the start of a company. I
Mm.
love 0 to 1. Figuring out how do we get this product to market is one of my favorite problems to solve. And so I've done it several times. And I love bringing that experience to companies that are in a place where I've been. But every time it's a new challenge and there's something different to figure out. But I have a really good view of not just payments now, but the banking ecosystem. And I think especially now with there being so many people being able to build because AI is speeding up the process, um, they're realizing they have to get to market faster. And so helping people kind of accelerate that is what I love doing.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. The hard mountain, the steep mountain to climb. That's your
Yes.
one. That's your specialty. Okay. So
Hmm.
one thing that pops straight into my mind is
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that will start businesses in the fintech space because, like you said, it's easier now with AI to spin something out. So, um, a lot of businesses don't make it to one. Uh,
Yeah.
have you got a strategy around identifying like which ones are more likely to make it? How do you approach that?
Hmm. Yeah, that's a really great question because it's getting harder and harder to tell because you don't need necessarily the technical expertise that you needed before to get basically to get your MVP off the ground.
Mm,
Um, I was at a conference recently, and there was a VC on stage who said something really interesting, and she was like, now we're in the age of not just product market fit, you kind of have an understanding of. She goes, but you need product marketing fit.
okay.
And I thought that was really I think it's something that I maybe hadn't said so eloquently before, but I love the way that she had said that. And so I start to look at, do these people understand who's going to be using their product? Do they really understand not just like their ideal customer profile, but who is the person at the in the long tail who's going to use it? So a lot of fintechs sell B2B, right? But there's a customer, a consumer generally at the other end that's going to use it.
Mm,
Have they ever built for them? Do they understand the position that they're in?
mm,
Um, do they understand how they work with technology or don't? Oh my gosh. I've seen lots of things start and fail because they did not understand that someone doesn't know how to pay with their phone
yeah.
or that's just not, whatever. I mean, there's lots of things there, but so really I try to dive into do they understand who's going to use the product in the end? Do they want to build for them and do they like that person?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So it's how well they're actually in that space because I had a podcast the other day with Dave George from Bicmo, so an insurtech business around bike insurance, like pedal bike.
Sure.
and he was a cyclist for ages. So like perfect, right, for going from 0 to 1. So that would be green flags for you. Like
That
if
would
you
be green flags for me.
okay.
And then the other piece is, do they understand and are they willing to do the work, specifically in fintech, to meet regulatory requirements for wherever they're going to sell?
Mm,
Um, and it's in the US right now, we're having a little bit of whiplash
yeah.
because our administration seems to think we don't need regulation, but then we do need regulation, and then it's all over
Yeah.
the place.
Yeah.
So it's a little hard, but will someone stick it out
Mhm.
or will they? I think there's oftentimes because you can build it and this is way faster, this is so much better. Yeah, but you still have to meet regulatory,
Mm,
like compliance and I think just making sure they understand that and are willing to do that work is another piece. Um, and then for me, with go-to-market in particular, are they are they going to be willing to do a true 360 like go-to-market strategy? Do they not? Because sometimes when you do go-to-market, they just want you to open up your Rolodex and make intros. And that's just not sustainable. That's not really going to keep your business going. You need a plan,
mm,
for sales, for marketing, for communication, and we have to iterate and we have to keep, it's an engine that you're building, So are they willing to build the engine? Or do they just want me to sort of, try to repair certain pieces? That makes it harder.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fine. So, and I think for me, I'd summarize that as like, are they doing this from a place of the enjoyment of building it and finding that solution, or is it more of a cash grab, which well,
Yes.
I
Which you see. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so okay,
And if that's it, just tell me it's a cash grab.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's a different strategy.
yeah, fair enough. Okay, no, I like it. Have you heard of George Mack before at all? And
Oh yeah.
yeah, his idea around he likes to build new products or offerings based around the ad first. So always,
Yes.
okay, well, how would I actually market to these people? I think that's quite I think that's similar to like what you're talking about there is like actually if he can understand the people that he'd market it to, create an ad that they'd actually click on, then he'll launch the product.
Yeah.
Um, okay,
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
do
Mhm.
people tend to come to you once they've started building or at the start of the idea?
No, generally they've already started building,
Good.
or they've tried to launch and it's not going well, or they need to speed up the process. Yeah.
Okay. Is that the best place for them? Because I'm thinking like it would probably be more beneficial if they came to you like as soon as they've got the idea, right?
I mean, that would be great, but often, I mean, if you don't, it's generally when do they have the funds,
Mm,
right? Like when can they bring on a consultant and pay for them? And you generally have to have a product that's already up and running if you're going to fundraise or you want to have a little cash, you want to have some revenue in. So that's generally when I come in, which is fine.
yeah.
It is honestly fine. I think, you know, you have an idea of who your ideal client is, but sometimes when you start a company, you're taking, you're just like, oh, great, they want to use us. And you haven't thought like, are they going to churn? Is this going to be a good relationship? Are they going to be, so sometimes it's coming in and looking at like, okay, you have, let's say 5 clients. Let's take a look at them and understand which one's your best client and why. That's often a place where I begin.
Yeah, definitely. No, I completely
Mhm.
okay. So
Yeah.
when we're looking at then your actual nuts and bolts of the go-to-market strategy,
Yeah.
I want to get into the nitty-gritty of it. So what's a winner at the moment for you of like generalized approach to going to market in the fintech space?
Oh, yeah. I mean, m- we'll take an example of, I'd say most fintechs that I talk to at this point are looking to work with some sort of like a bank or a credit union in the US, right? So where I begin is we say like, here's our ICP, here's the persona of the person you're selling to. So we'll define that.
Mhm.
And then we try to create really succinct messaging. The other problem I find with a lot of, and I say problem, but really it is just that like when you're working with people who build, they
Mm,
love to build. So
yeah,
then their product can often do 27 things.
yeah.
So the message just gets spread so thin that no one knows how to work with you.
Mm,
Um, so it's often my work is honing the message and saying, here are the two or three things, let's just take it to two or three that we do really, really well
mhm,
so that someone understands, great, that's for me, that's my budget, or oh, that's actually my team member and their budget. We have to know where the money is coming from so that we're selling to the right person who can say yes.
yeah,
So often helping them hone that message. And then it's really, then that's the point where I'm like, great, do I know the right people to make some intros?
yeah, okay.
That's when I'll open up
Mm,
my, my Rolodex, right? And say like, great, let's make some intros there. Otherwise, it's then how do we get the people who I don't know, or maybe they don't know, and building the engine to start
mm,
bringing in those leads. Um, so generally, yeah, very much a lot of the work is defining the ICP and the persona, building the engine for the ones we don't know, making intros for the ones we do. Then it goes to how easy have we made it for them to say yes?
mm,
What's the contract process like? What's onboarding like?
mhm,
And then how, and this is the piece that often gets forgotten, is then how are we ensuring that your product or service is going to be adopted by whoever's going to use it daily?
yeah,
Or, so if it's, if you're just selling purely B2B, how are you making sure that the internal team is using it? But
mhm,
if you're selling and it's a B2B to C, how are we making sure that the customer is using it?
yeah,
Um, Oftentimes, I find when we're integrating with a financial institution, the financial institution will look at the fintech and say, cool, can you guys give me examples of how others have successfully marketed this product?
yeah,
And the fintech will be like, well, we're kind of not built for marketing of anything other than our own product to a business. So uh let me see if we can build something for you. So marketing that and like taking it that like last mile is often the piece that becomes
mm,
um I don't know, just kind of left by the wayside.
yeah, okay, okay. So
Yeah.
first lever and probably biggest lever is that messaging, getting that simple so that
Yeah.
and then it's going actually at who can we speak to and how do we speak to them, and then it's
Yeah.
actually okay, they're interested, there's buy-in, but we want to actually make sure that they use it instead of just we get the deal and then it's a very short-term engagement and it disappears.
Exactly.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
fine. What,
Yep.
what's the and on the flip side, what's the worst approach that you've seen with fintechs trying to go to market? Okay, I've made a quick video to explain what we do as a business, and I wanted to let you know because you've probably got the burning question of who's this guy? Why is he asking these questions? What does he know about sales? Well, I put it all in the video, so click on it. It's in the description and in the comments, and I'll let you get back to the podcast now.
Um, you know what, the thing I've seen the most is not understanding the financial institution you're selling into. So, for instance, in the US, we have our credit unions and we have our banks. Banks call their customers customers, credit unions call their customers members. And so, not coming equipped with the right language,
Yeah.
that's number one. And then number two, as a lot of people in fintech know, building to bank core technology, especially in the US, is very difficult.
Mm.
And so, a lot of times I've seen fintech say, like, well, whatever financial institution says yes, that's the core we're going to build to. But then you don't know the work that's ahead of you. And
Yeah.
you don't, you know what I mean? Unless you've done it before. And maybe that's fine. But sometimes I'm like, just pick, honestly, to me, picking a core or a digital front end or wherever that integration has to be, picking that and then saying like, great, from there, we're going to go sell to people that use that.
Mm.
That's often a good strategy. It narrows your focus and it makes it easy, like I said, for them to say yes, because you've done the work, you know the work,
Yeah.
and the fintech can take that on for them. So
Okay.
yeah, it all comes back to making it easy to say yes
Mhm.
for me. I build a lot of strategy around that.
Yeah. Easy to say yes, and but also probably not saying yes to everything from the fintech.
Yes, correct.
to
Hmm.
don't take everything on just to get
Yeah.
it because it can. That can be a huge bottleneck, even as businesses are at that 20 to 50 million range, and they want to scale past that. The team are completely bogged down with these deals that they took on because they may not be the right fit, but they have it's a larger deal size, so they said, yeah, we'll make it,
Yep.
and then it just completely puts a strain on their business. Okay.
It does. Yeah, you're right. I'm sure you guys see this too with clients. It's just you get excited to say yes, but then is product aligned with that yes? Is tech? Do they know what's coming?
And then also I'd probably say even the businesses that have said yes to everything and they maybe do make it to that 20 AR
Yeah.
mark and they then want to go further, they have to go back to what you're talking about now and reset it all because they've built it on dodgy lines in and it's not stable. So yeah,
Yeah.
do it right for
Or
yes.
yeah, or like let's say you're trying to operate a SaaS model, right? What if you built something custom for one customer and then you start building something custom for another and you make an update and then that breaks for them? Like it's
Yeah.
you can get yourself into these positions where it's so easy to say yes because you really want the deal. And I get it. Like I have done it. I have been there. Like I say like anything I'm bringing to the table is hard earned. It definitely comes from experience. Um, I get it. I really do get it. And it's hard to say no, especially when it's like that first money in. But then you really do need to have a plan in place for great account management to
Mhm.
either say, look, we have to sundown that feature,
Yeah.
or figuring out, I guess, talking to product to figure out like how long, what is the lifespan on keeping something like this going? Does it become a feature we start selling to others so that it can become part of the regular updates? But yeah, it's either great account management and down the road in those instances, or product and tech are just going to have to figure out a good plan there, which that's not always the best route.
No, I agree. I agree. Okay. Uh,
Yeah,
Is it predominantly founder-led sales when you're dealing with people? Do they tend to when you're dealing with
yeah.
business, are they getting in account execs, SDRs at this stage, or mostly founder-led?
Generally, when I'm coming in, it's founder led. Yeah.
Okay.
They might have a couple of people in biz dev,
Mhm.
um, but it's mostly they're following up on the leads from founders or maybe their own book that where they know some people. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And do you find that one thing that I think is quite universal across the sales challenges, people tend to think that they just need more leads. Like we
Mhm.
just need more people that we can speak to. We just want to buy more leads and speak to more people. Do you find that like people are saying similar things that you're working with, and it's usually not the case?
Yeah, I've seen that many times. And I always say like the spatter shot approach, just I've never seen it work well.
Yeah.
Even if you think that you've built something that like thousands and thousands of people should say yes to, there's just, I mean, I know I'm preaching to the choir here when I say this, like there's buying windows.
Yeah.
There's understanding like who is feeling this pain now and
Mm.
needs this now. Who's like it's really defining so much more than just, well, if we just fill the pipeline, well, so many people are busy. You can't follow up. If one person cannot effectively follow up with like 100 leads
Yeah.
in with any real intention, or 1,000 leads, you kind of have to look at the size of your team. And then, I mean, if you can get like a really good list of like the ICPs and then the right people within those organizations, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yeah, you can be high touch, you can be customized, you can do it right and get a customer that's not just going to be churning in a year.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
completely agree with that. There's so many reasons why the more leads that doesn't work, but yeah, I think
I know.
obviously account-based sales, right? So we're going to say that like taking this process
Yeah.
the best way, but I challenge anyone in the space maybe to show me or Holly where they've made it work with like the math.
Please.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. So what's the next year plans for you? What's the goals, challenges, aspirations?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. One, I just feel like the landscape in fintech is changing so quickly. I think I said this earlier. I was in, San Francisco. I was in Silicon Valley like earlier, gosh, last week. And the rate at which things are changing is I've just never seen it go so fast. I feel like in fintech and payments and also we've kind of always, because we've had so many legacy systems, at least in the US, to deal with, there's always just been this kind of like, okay, you can kind of see where things are going.
Yeah,
I just feel like it's so rapid. And anymore, I'm like, okay, I feel like I have to stay on top of it even more than I ever did before, like understanding where the market's going. So for me, there's going to be a lot of like conferences and education, um, on top of just kind of expanding my client base. So, uh, and probably my team. So I'm excited. Like I said, I love 0 to 1, and I feel like I'm in that growth phase myself. So I'll get to do it for myself and for clients, and hopefully I take my own advice.
yeah. We were joking about before. I forgot the analogies that you said, but
Oh yeah. We were saying doctors make the worst patients and the cobbler's kids have no shoes. So I've got to make sure I take my own advice as I'm growing.
definitely no. It's the same for us. We that's why I have mentors, coaches, consultants that I will
Yes.
have been in the same space because it's so much easier to hear it from someone external. They can take an outside view on things. So yeah, I think that leads on nicely to if anyone is thinking about doing this 0 to 1 journey by
Mm.
themselves, I very much recommend speaking to someone. And if you think that Holly could be a good person to speak to, then where should people go to reach out to you and get in touch?
Yeah. So my website is unifigroup.com, but because I'm in tech, it's spelled weird. So here we go. It's UNIFIGRP.com. So you can reach out there, schedule time with me. Yeah, I'm always happy to take a call and learn what people are up to. And I love the fintech community. I've always kind of run groups or something in the space. So if there's anything I can do to help the ecosystem, I try to.
Oh, perfect. Well, I'll put the links in the description, and I
Great.
think that's it. So thanks for coming on, Holly.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. This was fun.
All right. Bye.